What if I told you that there is one simple skill that you can learn and start making more money today? Taday, today. What if I told you that? And what if I told you that I could teach it to you right now in the next few minutes? It's true. It's what's going to happen. So I'm going to tell you that. First, I'm going to tell you that this background of mine is not real. This is AI, whatever. It's on Zoom. It's a nice background. So don't ever use the excuse that you don't have a good background not to film because I'm doing it. The reason I have this background though is because I just spent 5 days on a cruise, my first cruise ever, with my mom. It was awesome, and it has to do with this video. And there's something that I started doing a long time ago. I started doing this, I want to say, really in earnest, maybe 11 years ago, and it changed everything for me. And 11 years ago, I was homeless. 11 years ago, I did not have any money to speak of at all. Negative bank account, high debt, very much so housing insecurity and all the things. But I started doing this anyway. And that means that I think almost anybody can do it. It's not easy, but it's simple. And when I started doing this really, really intentionally, and making it almost like a goal and a muscle that I was building, everything started to change for me. All of the things in my life started to click and make more sense. That doesn't mean I didn't have strife and heartache in the last 11 years. I've definitely had way, way, way ups and way, way, way downs. I've had it all, including this Wi Fi. This Wi Fi is an up and down for me right now. But because I'm in a hotel right now. But things started to change. And if this video is not doing well, just listen to my voice. What I want to tell you is that what I just did for the last 5 days, what I'll be doing this weekend, what I'll do when I get home, this is a constant thing that I do every day. And it has helped me generate millions of dollars. And before it generated millions, it generated thousands, it generated hundreds. It gave me my first real money to speak of when I started doing this in earnest. And I'll tell you what it is, and then I'll tell you how you can start doing this, even if you don't have a lot. And especially if you do have money. Let me talk to you about that. So what I do and what the skill is that I invest in myself. Before you say, "Oh, I've heard that before," that's not a skill. I've heard that before. You haven't heard this. You haven't heard it from me yet, and this quite this way. I feel like I see a lot of people, and I work with hundreds of entrepreneurs directly, and then thousands indirectly. I work with so many entrepreneurs and creatives and prof- professionals, retailers, um, musicians, and all sorts of people. And one thing that I have noticed more often than not is that people, and this may mean you, so let me tell me in the comments if this is you and if you think you might be able to change that starting today. People nickel and dime. And when I say nickel and dime, I mean every penny is accounted for. Not saying to be irresponsible. I'm not saying that it's not important to have a budget and know where your money is going, because of course it is. And I'm definitely not an expert when it comes to holding on to money. I'll tell you that. I do a lot of investing. But I see it to people's detriment. I see it where people are so concerned with paying an extra $10 or $20 for something that they don't see the $20,000 in front of them, right behind the $20. I'll give you a great example. We have all these AI tools, right? These different tools, Chat GPT, Pixels, uh, all these other tools. Like there's so many. It's hard to keep up with them. Abacus and all these ones. And most of them have a freemium model where you can do a few different prompts for free, and then you have to upgrade if you want more. Or you can say freemium and just do the limit for the day. But I don't think those freemium models were meant to always mean that you're always free. You're always trying to save a buck. I think it's I think if you wanted to know the key to me making more money, I was going to say making more money than you because it's in my head. I don't know that I make more money than you, but let's say I do. Let's say that you imagine that I make more money than you, if that's the case, and that may not be, but let's just say it is. Then listen to what I have to say about this, right? If you don't make as much money as I do on a yearly basis, which is at least $1 million for myself, and then I make millions more for other people. If you don't make that yet, try this. Try this thing that I'm saying. And that is, can you train yourself to look at things as not as an expense, but as an investment? Can you actually train yourself as if this is a skill that you are building that will sometimes you'll be good at, sometimes you won't be good at, but you'll get better and better and better. And when you start to do that and you say, this is an investment rather than an expense, it could be funny. You could say that about rent or whatever, but it could be funny, right? You could say that my Beyonce tickets are an investment. It's actually true. Did you go to? Let me know in the comments if you've gone to see Beyonce, if you could. And sometimes you go because you can afford it. Sometimes you go because you're like, you know what? Once I'm going to make this happen, I'll figure out the rest later. Either way, you cannot tell me that you didn't become like walk out of that concert a better person. It was an investment. This cruise that I just went on, to bring it back to what I was saying earlier, is an investment in me. In fact, on the cruise, I made something like $20,000. I did. I made 20 something like 20 $21,000 on the cruise because I had clarity. I had a lot of time on my hands. I had the beautiful scenery. I had uh, strategy sessions with myself. I was able to watch a bunch of YouTube even though we were on the boat, right? Go Wi-Fi. Um, it was an investment in myself, and not only because of like the literal things that I could do with it, but because I said I am worth it. I am going to spend the money. I am going to upgrade. I am not going to worry about this cost to this dinner and that thing over there because I'm going to come in with an amount of money that I have to spend on this. And I'm not going to, I call it like buying a house and then not putting the air on because you're afraid of how much that's going to cost. I'm not going to go to a cruise, my first one especially, and not do the upgrades. I'm going to do the upgrades. I'm going to have the experience that I want to have. And by doing that, I enriched myself. Like I made myself feel more valuable. And when I make myself feel more valuable, I'm willing to invest in myself more. And when I do that, I'm looking for a return on investment. It may not happen immediately, but this time it did, where I was able to put back out into the world how I felt. I was reflecting back to the world how I felt. I felt great. I felt valuable. I felt like I am someone who this is this it comes to me, talk about manifestation. It comes to me. It is mine already. That's what I want you to do. Not with the cruise necessarily, although YOLO, but maybe the next time you're looking at Chat GPT or Pixels or 11 Labs or any of the things that I show you in these AI videos, anything that you're looking at, maybe you say to yourself, instead of being really worried about $20 a month, what if I invested $100 a month over 4 or 5 different AI products? And what if I then took those 30 days to learn as much as I could about it, to put them into action and see how much money I could make back? And then I could say after 1 or 2 months, I'm no longer going to have the subscription. But I think what people do is they wait for the perfect time and they wait for the perfect circumstances. And what they find is that those don't exist and they've wasted time. Every day that you don't do something, you've missed it. It's gone. It doesn't come back. It doesn't come back. And as I sit here between the cruise on my way up to Spokane, where I'm going to go to something called Hoop Fest, which is where 250,000 people gather for 3x3 basketball. I'm going there because I'm a partial owner of a new women's pro basketball tournament and league. Yes. And how did I get that? How did I get that? I get that with a lot of hard work, with a lot of effort into building over time, over the last decade plus. And I got there because I said, I'm living in abundance. I'm not going to be stifling myself. I'm not going to tell myself I can't do that. Who am I to have a women's pro basketball league and tournament? I know who I am, and you know who you are. And every single time I put something out in the world, it comes back to me more so, and it doesn't happen immediately all the time, but it does come back. When I got my season tickets to Angel City, our women's pro soccer team in LA, we have 4 director's box seats, very expensive, my wife and I. When I got those, uh, I knew that they would be worth it. And every single time I go there, I have some sort of run in, some sort of meeting with someone who, maybe a deal could be done, or maybe just knowing them is a good thing. I put myself in the room. I paid for something recently where it's like $2,000 or $3,000 extra that I wasn't counting on, and I paid for it for somebody else. And as I was sitting at the event that happened, I made 5,000. I made 2x. It comes back. And I think that it's more importantly than it coming back to you and that it being whatever the word is, replenished. More important than that, I think you owe it to yourself to not be so caught and stuck. And we are there. I know why. I know why. I know too intimately well what it looks like to have a bank account that's negative. I know what that looks like. I know what it looks like to owe people money. I owe people money. I know what that looks like today. It's not like I was 10 years old. You just, when you make more money, you just get into more debt. Like it's just more debt and more debt. The point is, though, the reason I'm able to make 7 figures every year, the reason I'm able to do that is because I don't think of everything I do as, oh my God, that's so expensive. I get the best fruit. I get the best of the best. I don't waste money, but I invest money. And I would just, well, I hope that for you, wish that for you. And I think, let me know in the comments. And if you've made it this far, I want to talk to you too about subscribing to my channel. When you subscribe, and if you're already subscribed, thank you so much. No action needed or wanted. I appreciate you so much. If you're not subscribed, but you've made it this far, when you subscribe, it actually tells the YouTube algorithm that people like this video, and then YouTube puts the video out in front of more people that I don't know. So it brings me more of my ideal viewers when you subscribe, when you hit that one button to subscribe. Not only that, you don't miss my videos when they come out, which is quite often, and you might want another video like this, and you might want to know some of the tactical things that I do, some of the deep dives that I give, behind the scenes looks at things, very open and honest on YouTube and everywhere else. But this is where I live, and this is what I really want to spend the next several years digging into, is this YouTube channel. So do me a favor and subscribe. Make sure that you subscribe, comment, let me know what about this video if it's resonated with you. I'm so happy for us. I'm so happy for us that we get to live, that we get to be alive, and that we get to do things. We're grown. We're grown. We finally made it. Remember when we wanted to be grown? We're here. So let's do something about it.